Hi, we want to give you some tips today about what employers look for. So this is in any job really. We're from the tech sector, but that doesn't really matter. This is what employers across the world look for when they're recruiting new people. The main thing above anything else is a positive attitude. If you turn up and you're interested, if you show some interest in what you're doing, if you want to be there, you're halfway there. One of the key things about work is all about problem solving. If there weren't problems in the world, nobody would have a job. So problem solving is really, really important. And creative side, yeah, people knock the creative industries at times, but the creative side of things is what it's all about, coming up with new ideas, being able to put them across, yeah? So creative problem solving is a big one. A good eye for detail, yes. How many times did I check this slide? If you're going to put on, you've got a good eye for detail, make sure everything's absolutely spot on if you're doing an application form. Ability to work under pressure and meet deadlines. Again, just like problem solving, almost anything you do in work has a deadline. And often that means that you're working under pressure to meet a short deadline. If a deadline's a year away, probably not going to happen. So a lot of deadlines are pretty immediate. We look for people who have good communication and social skills. And one of the most interesting things I think is we look for team players. Now, this is a strange area for you probably at school at the moment, because everything you do at school is pretty much assessed individually. Yeah. Once you get to work, you're not looking after yourself, you're looking after the team. You work, you look after yourself, but the wider picture is you look after your team, you look after the people that you work with them and support them, but then you also work with and support the business that you work for. So yeah, we're looking for people who are team players, and who can contribute to the business. Now, an interesting one from a tech sector point of view is obviously being appropriately dressed. What that means is that if I'm going to meet the managing director of a client or a company that we're looking to win business from, yeah, I probably will go suited and booted. But if I'm working as a developer and I'm working in a non-customer facing role, then probably it's t-shirt and jeans. So you might change what you wear day in, day out, according to what your expectation is. But I would say the key thing there is to dress for the role. So if you've got a customer facing role, likelihood is you're going to be a bit more smart dressed. You're probably going to have a name badge on. The key thing is to be appropriately presented. I certainly wouldn't go for a job interview unless it was in a very sort of the moment sort of techie firm. I wouldn't go in t-shirt and jeans. You might go in a shirt and jeans or the equivalent. Go smart but appropriate for the role, and obviously avoid things like t-shirts with inappropriate slogans on. So how you get there and how you get recruited. If you think, people will advertise a job and they might get 200 applications. Do they read 200 applications? There's a lot of urban myths about people putting them in two piles and just binning one pile because they haven't got time. That might happen some places. But what you've got to make sure is your application form is to get you through to the next part of the process. Once you're in that next part of the process, that's there to get you to the next bit. It's all about ultimately getting you to interview. So you've got to stand out. You've got to really stand out from your friends. If there were 200 of you in the school hall watching this now, and I was stood in front of you, I would say, yeah, we've got a group 15, 16, 17-year-olds in front of me. They've all probably done, I don't know, 5, 6 GCSEs, maybe a few more. You're pretty much the same to me. So how are you going to stand out from your mates and be the one person that I recruit? Now, one of the things, if you think about photography or art or things like that, you've got this idea of having a portfolio, yeah? And that's the best stuff that you've done. Not everything you've done, the best stuff that you've done or that you've done in a team, and you can but credit it to the team. That's an important aspect. Don't take the credit for work you haven't done, but you build a portfolio of the best stuff that you've done. Now, what you also need is some experience of work and or volunteering. I'm not talking about work experience. I'm talking about experience of work, experience of volunteering, yeah? Now, if you can't get a job or some summer work, think of some project work, some volunteering you might be able to do. And the main reason for doing this is so that you can get experience, but you can also get some form of reference. Yeah. What you want at the end of that, whether it's a summer job, whether it's a project, whether it's being a leader at scout camp, whatever it is, you need at the end of that somebody to be able to put pen to paper and say, they turned up when I asked them to turn up, they had a great attitude, they were an asset to the team, they were really helpful, they did a smashing job, and you know what? I'll give them a job tomorrow. That is one of the best outcomes you can get from doing any volunteering. You know, you're not working for nothing. You want something out of it, and that's really what you need to aim for. You want that sort of reference, and the best place, or one of the good places to put it, is on a thing called LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is really a bit like Facebook for business, but if you can say, well, I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and look what the manager who was in charge of that volunteering or who was in charge of that summer school said about me, that will speak volumes and it'll help you get a job, because employers do look up what you've got on social media, including the likes of LinkedIn, before they move on to offer you that next stage. Yeah. So have a look at LinkedIn, get yourself an account, be careful not to put too much information on there, don't overshare. Look at our video that we've done on personal appearance and online appearance and personal branding, because there's hints and tips in there again. But do have a look at LinkedIn, have a look at that one. So yeah, keep going. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something you've not done before. Stand in front of 200 students and talk about your career. Now complete everything you start. If you get to Christmas in the second year of a course, and that course is going to finish with exams in May, you might as well keep going. You've done 18 months of it. You're 2/3, 3/4 of the way through. Why wouldn't you keep going? Complete everything you start. Bank your achievements, and if you're thinking of a career, move onwards and upwards, but don't be frightened to go sideways. Don't be frightened to go diagonal. And if you think of your job and your career and where you're moving forward, think about it as a triangle. Yeah, you want to get to the top, you want to move up, but you don't have to always go straight up a ladder to go there. You can go zigzag. Don't be frightened to go sideways. If you don't know what you want to do something you enjoy doing. Do something you're good at. If you can do something you're good at that you enjoy, great. Because what the ideal situation is, you end up in a job that's not a chore. It's not a job. It's actually just something you really enjoy doing. Yeah. So if you don't know what you want to do, chances are the job that you're going to be doing in 5-10 years time hasn't even been invented yet. Yeah. So do something you enjoy. Be careful as you narrow down your choices, because essentially what you're doing is you're making your funnel a little bit tighter. You're closing those double doors ahead of you. So you're saying, well, actually, I've dropped art, I've dropped music, I've dropped French, I've dropped Spanish, whatever it might be. It's going to make it harder to get that door open again if you want to do that in the future. So keep your options open. Be careful what you narrow down, but concentrate on what you're good at and what you're interested in. And I think another important aspect of this is to share what you know. You know, not necessarily going around saying you know it all, but if you share the experience that you've had, if you share by helping other people, you'll benefit, because you'll get known as the person who's helpful, and then people will come to you when they want something done. Obviously, you've got to be careful, or that everybody comes to you with everything, but you know what I mean. Share what you know, because ultimately you'll benefit from that. The most important thing is to get your maths and English. Once you get your maths and English, get them out of the way, get that banked, bank it, move onwards and upwards. So in summary, you need to stand out from your mates, because if I get 200 applications from 16-year-olds, they all look pretty much the same. Get that LinkedIn account, because the person that gives you that recommendation might be somebody I know through work, through something socially that I do. And I say, hey, you know that person that you had on your volunteering, that I've just had a job application for them. They look really good. Would you give them a job? So you've got to keep yourself right on social media as well. Don't overshare. Be careful what you're doing. LinkedIn isn't where you just paste up your CV. Another thing on CVs, if you're applying for a job and it asks for a CV, do a different CV for every job application. If the job asks for A, B, and C on your CV, you should say, put the answers to those questions, if you like. You know, do you have experience in this, that, and the other? Put that question as A, B, and C. Because if you like, think about it as a teacher marking a bit of work. Make it easy for them to mark it, so they're not fishing around trying to find out where A is, where B is, where C is. And if you can say, I did this in this setting, and it had this impact, that's the sort of thing you should be looking for on a CV or on a job application. So have a think about that. LinkedIn isn't where you upload your CV, but your CV you should tailor for every job application. There's no such thing as a CV. It should be a CV for every job application, and it's relevant to that particular job application. Think about any old accounts that you have and delete those. So we're from Dynamo Northeast. Dynamo is the Northeast Tech Cluster, and that brings together people working across, 1,500 jobs and 1,500 companies in the Northeast, all working in the world of tech. That's IT and technology. And we have events, we hold conferences and awards ceremonies. We've trained over 100 young people to get them ready for IT apprenticeships, and we won funding for Northern Futures UTC, which is a new school in Newcastle concentrating on IT and life sciences. Thank you for watching.